Thank you for tuning in to Papi Chulo. My name is Chris. Today we have a pair of Nike SB Dunk Low Skeletors, which came out in 2011. This pair is totally beat, needs the works. My goal is to try to make it look as new as possible. After removing the laces, I do a physical inspection of the shoe, physical inspection of the laces, and anything I'm gonna keep, I put in a fat old Ziploc bag. In order to remove the old outsole on a cup sole shoe, all you have to do is find the threads on the inside and see where they correspond on the outside. Just use a little hook tool and just pull it right out. You can do that right now to any one of your cup outsole shoes. Of course, you don't want to do that. And then you just pull and then you unloop from the inside thread. Then you pull again and then unloop from the inside thread. And you do that over and over and over all the way around the shoe until both the outside and the inside thread are gone. Now, typically on this step, on an older shoe, you should just be able to pull the outsole off. But these Skeletors have an extremely good glue job. Come to think of it, I don't know if I've ever done a reglue on these in the past. Something about the glue and the suede they used is very tough. So I had to go ahead and do the oven technique. I did 170 for 5-minute increments. I kept checking every 5 minutes. You have to be careful because there is a Phylon plate on the inside of the outsole, and that Phylon plate will shrink if it's heated too much. Before the next step, I swap out X-Acto knives to make sure I have a very sharp one. What I'm doing is I am slicing off the old glue. If you notice, I have not once used any chemicals like acetone. I just want to be as careful as humanly possible with these uppers. And also, this provides a much cleaner bond with the new glue. You can't just go straight to the Dremel tool because the Dremel tool will just heat up all of that old glue and embed it deeper into the suede. So you really need to remove it when it's nice and crackling dry. Also, try to be safe with that new blade because it hurts. I got my suede cleaning kit out, started doing a suede deep clean, but realized after a while that this is an instance where a dry clean is just not going to be good enough. I have a fishing tank for such purposes as this. I filled it with water and Castile soap. I put the shoes with the lasts inside to weigh them down, and I immerse them in the solution for a full day, and then I let them air dry for 3 days. Once they were finally dry, it was time to use the Dremel with the drum sander tool to roughen up the glue line to get ready for glue. I should mention that I did cut the strobel while I was doing this step. I don't really think it's a big deal though, especially when you're using an aftermarket outsole or a different kind of outsole, because the shape is going to be different anyway. So you're usually going to have to make alterations to the strobel anyway. So it's not really that big of a deal. I want to get a color match to re-dye the blue suede. You'll notice I'm using acrylic paint. Now, by no means do I intend to paint the suede. Just testing the color under that glue line because no one else will see it until I get the color right. So the plan here is to use acrylic paint, mix it with a lot of textile medium. I think it was 1:1, and then grab some Angelus suede dye. The neutral is clear, and I've noticed that Angelus mixes acrylic paint into some of their dyes to get the color that they want. I decided to do the same thing. I like to use an airbrush when I'm dyeing suede because it's coming out drier than if I was using a brush. Suede dye is already alcohol based, so it's quick dry anyway, but this is like that added level of care for the suede. After dyeing suede, once it's dry, you want to do a lot of brushing to get that nap back up. After I brushed it, I just touched it up a little bit on some parts that were still grayish, the back part of this flap too, just to make sure that everything looked new. After the blue dye was complete, I noticed that the black just looked completely washed out, so it definitely needed to be redyed. I redyed it with a paintbrush because taping off is not like 100% foolproof, and I did not want to get any black on that blue.
What shoe is that? Do you know what shoe it's called?
This shoe? Mm-hmm. Skeletor.
Skeletor?
Skeletor SB Dunk Low, yeah. Do you know who Skeletor is?
What?
Huh?
What?
Do you know who Skeletor is? He's a villain on a cartoon. You ever heard of He-Man? My kids never heard of He-Man. Anyway, I wanted to rough up the suede on the toe a little more, so I used some 600, 400, 320, and 220 grit sandpaper. You may have noticed that I had already made my red marks for my glue line. That was a little premature. When I started this job, I actually wasn't sure if I was going to dye these shoes at all. But since I dyed them, I decided to put my red mark back. It's as easy as it looks. You just put the outsole over the upper and mark where you want the outsole to go, and that's where your glue line goes. These outsoles I ordered from the seller, and by the way, if you are interested in learning how to order sneaker parts, check out this video here. These outsoles were more narrow than the OG outsoles. These outsoles were probably made for and used by replica dealers. But as far as this color is concerned, and especially with the Phylon plate, we're talking about a purple outsole with a black midsole. The only other options were to buy another Skeletor SB or buy a purple Lobster SB, which sort of defeats the purpose. If someone could afford to do that, then they wouldn't sole swap to begin with. Since I'm using the OG Phylon plates, I need to customize them in order to fit into the these new outsoles. In this case, they are too wide, and if I left them that way, they would actually spread the back of the outsole wide, making the fit more difficult. One of the benefits of ordering parts instead of having to use donors is that there's a little bit less work. Typically, the outsoles come in super clean. This particular order was unique. I convinced a seller to cut off the uppers of a replica Skeletor and give me the outsoles. They literally just cut an X-Acto knife around the top of the outsole. So there is still all this glue in there that I need to remove. Notice that this is the first time in this whole project that I've used acetone, and I'm only using the acetone on the rubber. And I still don't want to use too much acetone because I've noticed that the rubber starts to feel a little different. I'm not sure what's happening there, but if you douse it too long, I think it changes its chemical makeup, and that's not something we want. Typically on a project like this, I like to apply the glue pretty much the last thing I do before I go to sleep. That way I can give it the full 8 hours to cure and be fully dry in the morning when it's time to glue. So I was doing this and watching Netflix. Blue Eye Samurai. Really, really good. I highly recommend it. When I purchased these shoes, they did not come with insoles. They did not come with laces. They didn't even come with a box. So I decided to try to get creative and make some cool insoles, some custom insoles. And also I have plenty of laces. I wanted to see if I could dye the laces the right color for the alternative laces that come with the OG pair. The insoles that I used were from a pair of Rep Purple Pigeons. I'm using the outsoles for a sole swap. I have no use for the insoles, so might as well try to put them to good use. What in life is better than custom insoles? Well, I'll tell you, custom insoles with a Skeletor logo and my logo on them. You go to Cricut's website to find out the temperature and the time for every type of material that you're using, including the iron-on material, because it's all kinds of different stuff. It's very specific numbers, but if you follow them, then you're good. I also had to reassemble the back of the insoles for all the stuff that came off when I had it in boiling hot water. I thought they came out pretty good though. One thing I didn't film was putting the glue onto the uppers. That's because I sprayed adhesion promoter onto the shoes. You really got to do that outside. Those fumes are no joke. So I did 3 coats, and on the 3rd coat, I applied the glue within 10 minutes of putting on that 3rd coat as the instructions specified. The glue that I use is not Barge's Super Stick. I use one that doesn't have any VOCs and is water-based, and it's called Renio 130. I'm still tinkering with it. The instructions say that the glue needs to get to 176 degrees, then it creates this cross link, making like a major bond. What I'm learning is that you have to get your heat gun pretty dang hot in order to get the glue to 176 degrees. As you can see, I'm using an infrared thermometer checking the temperature of the glue. Some materials will not withstand this kind of heat. Phylon is one of them. So when I'm heating up the Phylon plate, I'm counting on that barrier that the glue is making. So I'm only heating up the glue, and I'm doing it as fast as I can. I do not want to shrink or damage the Phylon plate. So what I like to do now is put the upper onto the outsole exactly where I want it to be. And then I heat up the middle of one side and press it together. Just the middle. And then I do the same exact thing on the opposite side. Now the upper should not move while I heat up the rest of the shoe. So I will do one part of the upper and then press together, and then another part and then press together, and work my way around the shoe. Now, once the outsoles are on, I'm gonna do a little bit of detail work to really clean the shoe up and make sure that it is gonna look good for pictures, because it's almost picture time. This is honestly my favorite part of a reglue or a sole swap. I love using this machine. If you want to learn how to use this machine, I do have a video. The machine is about $300 and it saves me hundreds of hours. If you're curious about what thread size I use, I believe that Nike uses a T270 thread for their outsoles. So that's what I use for the outer thread. The inner thread can be 270 or less, but I would suggest a little bit thinner to make the sewing a little bit easier. So I'm gluing the threads down to the strobel and I realized, dang, the authenticators probably have to see this strobel. So I stopped what I was doing and did the authentication. Okay, that's enough of that. Anyway, here is the final product.